Hello, everybody. Welcome to Browns and Beyond, your home for Cleveland Browns content, NFL content, and other sports content. If you're enjoying the show, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you stay locked in with all the latest sports content. And most importantly, drop us a comment. We want to hear your thoughts. All right, boys, here we go. Another Browns Sunday. They take on the Niners here, so we hopefully we have that same kind of luck that we did a few years ago when we took on the Niners. Remember those?
Yeah, it was a heck of a game. I remember that came down to a last-second field goal. We caught a little bit of luck in that one with a missed field goal by then kicker Jake Moody for the 49ers.
Yeah,
we got lucky that Moody missed the kick.
Yeah, that was one of our bigger wins that season, the playoff team of 2
Big
years,
win, yeah.
2 years ago. And that San Francisco team was coming in very hot into that game, too. I think it's going to be interesting. The Browns are back at home. I'm sure everybody's excited with our new quarterback here, Steve. So I'm looking forward to it. We're stepping up in class, an opponent here this week. I'm interested to see, now what Sanders looks like against a better opponent, what the Browns look like against a better opponent at home. What do you think?
Absolutely, guys. The 49ers come into this game actually at 8-4, and the Browns are 3-8. But Shedeur becomes the first. He became the first rookie quarterback since '99 to get his win in his first start. It's special, and I think we may have found our future quarterback.
Now you're already going there, Steve.
I am.
You're already going to.
he's doing what he's doing. He's planting the flag.
Okay.
He reminds me of Baker Mayfield, meaning Baker and him they're winners. They give it their all. They earn the respect from their teammates.
Okay.
And they find a way to win.
I think he's brought an energy. I just want to say that. I said that in our review of the game. I think there's an energy there.
I think that I see way more upside with the Shedeur than I do Baker. I think Baker, he's got his limits. We had this talk yesterday with one of Steve's relatives, and he agreed with me that Baker's got this max, and that's it. You can't go above it. But this Shedeur, I think he's got a lot of potential.
I think there's some really good physical characteristics there. It's whether he can put it all together.
That's correct. You're right.
Is still the question.
You're right, Dave.
Well, Baker and Shedeur have one thing in common. They have that it factor.
Okay.
That thing you call the it factor.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I think Charlie Fry had that too. I remember Dilfer said he had it.
We ran down a lot of names of quarterbacks we thought had the it factor.
Remember when Dilfer said that? He goes, "Well, Charlie's got the it factor."
Well, okay.
Anyways, continue, Steve.
Well, boys, Adam Schefter reported that Shedeur will get an extended look for the rest of the season, but Sanders' play will influence the team's decision. So if he plays well, he's staying in the game. He may get one mulligan. I'm hearing that.
Yeah.
But it better not be too bad of a play, or they could, go back to Dillon. And I think Shedeur got lucky that Dillon had that concussion at the time he did, because Stefanski was not pulling him anytime soon if that didn't happen, per se. What we're going to call today's game, the Battle of the Disrespected.
Oh, that's an interesting title, Steve.
Brock Purdy was the last pick of the 7th round, and Shedeur, of course, dropped as a 5th-round pick. So, Battle of the Disrespected, guys.
Can I make a point on this? I was having a discussion last night with a friend at the bar. And people say that the 5th-round thing is being overused on Shedeur. I've heard that narrative out there, mainly from the Shedeurites that are out there. They're highly supportive of their guy and won't go for any type of, what they see as slander towards Shedeur. But I will say this. If you did a list of the top 10 to 12 quarterbacks in the NFL, do you know how many of them were drafted in the first round?
Yeah, not that many.
No, pretty much all of them.
Oh, all of them. Okay.
All of them were drafted in at least.
Yes, that's right. That's
at least the first round of the NFL draft. Yeah, if you run down the list of quarterbacks that were.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean it's a fair.
And Brady is an out.
Why Shedeur dropped?
Okay.
I mean, months before, even Colin Cowherd, other guys saying top quarterback, like I'd say months before the draft.
Okay.
They were saying him and Cam were the top.
They were saying they were the top two coming in.
We know why he dropped, being Deion's son and everything else. The legendary.
I actually feel, I had this talk with, again, his relative yesterday.
Yeah.
I have it down now, I think, with Shedeur, why he dropped. It's simple. He's quirky. And I feel like he rubs people the wrong way. He's got something about him. It's not just the Deion thing. Okay. That's not the whole thing. He rubs people the wrong way. He's quirky. He's way overconfident. He's legendary. I feel like it's like like I think NFL, like a lot of these owners and GMs, you know what they want?
Mm.
They want the guy that's humble,
Okay.
that's quiet, that's calculated, and that isn't not brash,
Okay.
like
Yeah,
low tone.
Yeah, we talked about it, Dave. Like Shador,
Yeah.
maybe he'll put his earbuds in at the wrong time. He's
Yeah.
not doing it to be smart or like,
Yeah, that's he's being himself.
He's
Right.
being himself, not realizing that you don't do that. You know?
Yes.
It's
You realize you think that's the reason that he fell that far?
I do.
That, you don't think there's anything about the skill set or anything about
No, not. You know why? I think that.
Mr. Accurate.
Hold
One of
on.
the most
Don't you
accurate-
agree with me? There's no way he would have dropped to the 5th round. It
No.
had to have been about quirkiness or his personality,
Okay.
because his talent is better than 5th round. There's just no doubt about it.
I do think it was a weak quarterback class last year too, so I still think you can make the case he could have gone higher based on that.
Yeah.
But
Anyways.
The Browns will look to get the ball to Quinshad Judkins. Question of the day: will this be the game the Browns feed him the ball 20 times or more? Heard it's going to be windy in Cleveland, possible snow, definitely wind.
Ooh.
I know. What do you guys think? What you guys think? Judkins will get a lot of carries.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
about like he did last week.
they might be able to run the ball. Like the San Francisco defense has been a little bit better than I thought it would be. It'd be interesting to see Reese's game plan. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. How much more they threw the ball. 20 pass attempts last week. So do they throw the ball a little bit more this week? Is something I'm going to be watching for.
Yeah.
So,
Well, one thing for sure is the 49ers, they do give up explosive runs, especially from the outside. I'd love to see Judkins break one off against this injury-plagued defense. The 49ers pass defense ranks 26th in the league, allowing an average of 241.8 yards per game. The defense has struggled to get pressure on the opposing team's quarterback, which means Shador could have a field day in the passing game. I mean, it's possible.
Well, the thing will be is will Saleh, which has not been known to blitz a lot. That's what I'm wondering is does he bring more pressures? Because the Raiders last week did not blitz a lot. So it'll be interesting to see if they dial up more blitz packages this week at Shador. So,
Yeah. I keep saying it week after week, but I really want to see him throw a long ball to Cedric Tillman.
there we go.
I'd like to see if he can do that. And we know he's already made the connection with Isaiah Bond on a long pass. Be nice to get Jerry Jeudy involved, be that number one guy, and hopefully more down the field. Thank goodness Stefanski is not on play calling duties, and Tommy Reese is handling it because the 49ers defense, they're really good at stopping short passes. Robert Saleh has that dialed up, like the short, you know what I mean, Dave?
Yeah.
The short passing game, or like they're good at stopping that. Of course, we're going to see our tight ends, Harold Fannin and David Njoku, get involved. Fannon's still leading the team in receptions, 48 receptions, 462 yards. He's become the starting tight end guys over David Njoku. But I like having both of them as an option to go to, of course. The Browns defense is expected to even be better in this one by being at home, and the fact that Kyle Shanahan is 1-9 against defenses coached by Jim Schwartz.
Yeah, that's an interesting stat.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I find this 49ers offense to be interesting. It's different than it's been the last few years. They've had to find some different weapons at wide receiver. I will say, though, this is the best running back they probably will have faced the entire year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
By far.
that's going to be the real task in this one because McCaffrey has been tearing it up this year. I'm going to get into that in a minute.
Here's something before we get going. Talked to a guy the other day about the play calling with the Browns. And I'm kind of in agreement with this gentleman that I was talking to. He's a big Browns fan.
Yeah.
Stefanski, when he was making all these play calls, he's got the Denny's menu. He's on the sideline. The Tommy Reese thing, I do think it's a thing. Him being in the booth, in the booth. That gives you I don't understand why somebody didn't, you know what I mean? Like,
a lot of people are optimistic about Reese, and I've heard some talk this week about like college teams being interested in maybe hiring.
I heard he might be an NFL head coach.
Well, I mean,
I
think first things first. I
remember UCLA wants him really bad.
That's right.
Yeah. The last cast.
Well, that's what I was going to say because he came from the college game, Steve, and a lot of people thought he did, and I thought he did a solid job at Notre Dame when he had Ian Book there. In that one year, he had Jaden Milroe at Alabama. He got the most probably delivery out of him because Milroe's really an athlete playing quarterback. He's not necessarily the most accurate guy in the world, but he was able to get a lot out of him that year in Alabama as the offensive coordinator there. So yeah, I could see him being a wanted guy, especially by the college programs.
What do you think about the booth, Steve? About making calls from the booth? Don't you think that's a big advantage?
I don't know why, but I like it better. Probably because we're so used to seeing Stefanski, and like you said, looking at the menu, it's like covering his face with that thing was almost getting annoying. So I kind of like a guy in a booth, and the Browns didn't do that often. They did do it with Dorsey last year. I know he's fired, but I like it, especially for the Browns. I like it, dialing it up in the booth.
Just want to get your thoughts on it. Go ahead, continue.
All right, guys. Well, Jim Schwartz will take advantage of running his wide nine aggressive defense. Expect the Browns defensive line to get after Purdy. Myles Garrett is closing in on that sack record, so we should see what he can do there. Alex Wright is out for the second week in a row, but Isaiah McGuire's filled in nicely. He even had a sack last week, so I think we can still cover that up pretty well. Malik Collins gets to face his old team, and I'm sure they're going to be missing him about now, this depleted 49ers defense.
Yeah, they've had a lot of injuries.
They probably love to have Malik Collins now. I'm glad that we have him. Mason Graham is there, too, to plug up the holes. I hope we can stop, like you just mentioned, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he's had an outstanding season. He's like a one-man band, guys. I mean...
Yeah, he reminds me a little bit of we had that run of like a Marshall Faulk, the dual threat of running backs, all the way back to like Thurman Thomas in the 90s with those Bills teams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That dual threat running back. By the way, could be on his way to another 1,000 season. He's done that before in 2019 when he was in Carolina. Great dual threat running back.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to say. Like, not only is he dangerous running the ball, but he catches long balls as well. You're right, Dave. I mean, I could see him very well getting that 1,000 each as long as he stays healthy. And don't forget the 49ers have Brian Robinson Jr. They got him from the Commanders in the trade earlier. He's not a bad running back, guys. He had good games for Washington.
Yeah, I agree.
I watched a little bit. So he could be a force of the running game as well. The linebackers, Carson Swetchinger and Devin Bush, will have to be ready and be aware of McCaffrey as well. Then, of course, Denzel Ward and Tyson Campbell. Man, they're playing good together, guys. I'm starting to not miss Greg Newsome.
No,
I didn't think I was going to say that because Newsome was playing elite before he left.
Just before the cast, we were talking about it, that they may have upgraded with Campbell over Newsome. In Jacksonville, I heard last week they had actually benched Newsome.
Yeah, I heard that too. And gosh, that's hard to believe because he was playing good for us. I mean, Tyson's a little taller than Newsome. It appears that he can play in this man-to-man coverage defense better. So that, it's working out for us in our favor. We might have our corner for, years to come here, and at a cheaper pay, by the way, so that helps.
Yeah.
Andrew Berry in the pocketbook. Look for Grant Delpit to have a big game as he's been solid all season long. As we know that the 49ers have one of the best tight ends in the game, and that being George Kittle. And then they take their turn basically making their throwing to Jawan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, and Demarcus Robinson. Seems like a different guy has a good game every different week. It's not like one solid rock star receiver.
Yeah.
Of course, Kittle's always good.
Yeah, it's a different group than they've had the last couple years.
And then Ayuk, I don't know what his deal is.
Yeah, well, there's a contract situation, I still believe, there, too.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, this is Shador's first game starting at Huntington Bank Stadium, playing in front of the fans. I think he's going to get a great response. And if he plays well, I mean, they are going to be going crazy. I mean, first game.
Yeah.
I love that he had his first start away. He'd get a little
less pressure.
Right.
A little less pressure.
Less tightness.
Now, I'm excited to see him at home. I think our fans are going to go crazy for him. I really do. So I think the Browns playing at home.
Okay.
With the top defense and to build the confidence of Shador. Will have in himself and with his teammates. Will just be too much for the 49ers.
Wow.
I have the Browns winning, guys.
You do.
23-20.
Wow.
Go Shador.
Wow.
Keep it going.
All right,
Go
let's
Browns,
see it,
baby.
Legendary. Oh, he's doing it. Guys,
Here we go.
being a Browns and Beyond staff member,
Wow.
we get to witness legendary, every like every twice a week.
Yeah, I
You
just
know,
wonder,
and-
Brent, how much we're going to see this gesture by Steve this season. Hopefully
Yeah.
for Browns fans a lot, because that means Shador is playing well, to be
It
fair.
makes me laugh because, like,
Yeah.
when we go to restaurants and bars together
Yeah.
and watch these games,
Yes.
and I'm doing that, people that don't watch football, they're probably like, what in the heck is this guy doing?
right.
They're gonna, I think the bartender, the one that needs to
I'm
lose.
showing greatness.
She-
They
she-
need
I think
to
she
know.
said,
showing greatness.
She said, "Are you flicking me off?"
Jeez.
No, because it. Anyways, no. Steve gets excited about it, and then Mr. Greenshield, he likes to stand up like Jordan, and
Well, hey.
we'll get to that.
Well, yes, we'll talk about that later.
It's got to come there. All right, we will turn to Mr. Dave Greenshield.
Yes.
Dave, give us the insight here of this Browns versus 49ers matchup.
All right, the second start of the Shador era. Let's go, folks. The first home start. This should be exciting. Shador is 1-0 as the Browns starting quarterback after he helped the Browns to the 24-10 road win over the Las Vegas Raiders. He did go 11 of 20 for 209 yards with a touchdown and an interception. Sanders will try to have similar success Sunday against the 49ers defense that gave up just 9 points during the Week 12 win over the Carolina Panthers. Sanders has his work cut out for him. Despite some major injuries, the 49ers defense continues to be one of the better units in the NFL, thanks to veteran defensive coordinator Robert Saleh, who's doing a really great job with the guys that they've lost. I'll get into that in just a second. This season, they've allowed under 200 yards passing 6 times, by the way, including during last week's win over the Carolina Panthers. This unit has also forced 5 total turnovers over the past 2 games. It will be interesting to see how aggressive Saleh is with blitzing rookie quarterback. The 49ers only blitz 22.3% of the time, ranking only 24th out of 32 teams in the NFL. I really feel the next step for Shador would be to play a clean game. I think that's the big thing I'm looking for. How aggressive they're going to be offensively with the Reese game plan, Steve. But then, I think the next step, can he take care of the football? Avoid like the big mistake that he had last week, which is why I had his letter grade between like a B and a B minus.
Yeah, hopefully don't throw an interception.
Right.
And don't, roll out and get, hold on to the ball too long, things like that.
Right. Yeah. Ball security is at a premium. Let's just put it that way. It's going to be interesting if he can take that next step. He'd have that bad pick against the Raiders, as I mentioned, and the 49ers are known to force mistakes. This is a depleted crew for San Francisco. Tough losses. Their 2 best players, Nick Bosa. That's probably where that pass rush has gone, Steve.
Yeah, there went the pass rush.
Right. And Fred Warner, their second best player in defense, best linebacker out for the season. Their 2 most impactful players on defense. It's going to be interesting to see, again, how much help Shador can continue to get from his supporting cast. The Browns did not get a strong run game last week. Quinshon Judkins, only 47 yards on 16 carries. Again, do they commit more to the run? That run-pass dynamic is going to be an interesting thing to watch for in this game. By the way, he still leads rookies with 667 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns. By the way, give a little credit to the Browns' offensive line. We maligned it last week. They did only give up 1 sack, Steve, so they were good in pass pro.
Yeah.
The 49ers, by the way, Steve mentioned the struggles in the pass rush. They are last in the league with sacks, only 13. So that's going to be interesting. For them. If they're not generating it, does Saleh scheme up pressures to get after Shador? And how does he recognize those pressures? Does he get rid of the ball quickly? The holding the ball too long, the run backwards stuff. We hope
we hope that doesn't come back.
Exactly. Does his mechanics stay solid? Does he, take his check downs? Which he was good at, making some underneath throws last week.
Well, he didn't. He looked really good in the Raiders game where he was going more forward in the pocket.
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't pressure him a lot, but at least he wasn't. I didn't see any signs of that, so that's good.
That's a good thing.
The bailing from the pocket thing, right?
But Dave, one thing I was going to say, even if he is holding it, hopefully not too long,
right?
But receivers are running the full play because he might get him the ball.
Well, but the other thing too is then you always want to make sure you give him an outlet receiver, so somebody he can check it down to.
Yeah,
and that's the other big thing with a rookie quarterback is going through your progressions, and do you take the little dump down to the running back if there's nothing down the field?
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see and something to watch for in this game. It'll also be interesting to see if they try to scheme up some pressures, as I mentioned. Also be interesting to see how much help Shador will get from the wide receiver spot. He got the big play from Isaiah Bond last week, but then he also gets the boneheaded fumble by Jerry Jeudy last week. Wouldn't you know it, Steve?
Right.
It will be interesting to see, how much chemistry he's going to be able to develop with these wide receivers, and does he find like a go-to guy, whether it be Bond, whether it be maybe your guy Tillman or Judy. That's going to be interesting to see as well. This being Shador's second start, again, how aggressive will Tommy Reese be? Will they throw it more than 20 times today, Steve? You have a thought on, on that run pass balance and, what they might be looking at when it comes to that?
I have a feeling he may be throwing it more than 20.
Okay.
It may be 25 to 30. I know it'd be smart to run Judkins, but I don't know. It just seems like Shador wants to make plays, and will Tommy Reese let him do that? He could.
Weather conditions could factor into this game script.
Yeah,
do they have a few more down the field shots in this one? That's going to be interesting to watch as well. On the other side of the ball, after a solid start in his first game back against Arizona, Brock Purdy really struggled against the Panthers last week. He was 23 of 32 for 193 yards, but he had 3 picks. It wasn't great. Purdy, and I know you're a Purdy fan there, Brent. He is the type of quarterback that has had success in this Kyle Shanahan offense. He does a good job of being a distributor. He's got good mobility. The wide receiver core, Steve mentioned it earlier, Juwan Jennings, Kedrick Bourne. It's an interesting crew compared to the Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk combination that they've had there for a few years. George Kittle has been starting to get more involved in the 49ers offense the last 3 games. He's had 23 receptions in the last 3 games, so he's becoming, a bigger factor in this offense. Still, when healthy, one of the better tight ends in football. The biggest weapon in this 49ers attack is easily C-Mac. He's leading the league. Actually, I didn't realize this, with 217 carries, as well as 81 catches. So he's like handling a full workload when you stop to think about it.
81 catches?
Right, the 81 catches and the 217 carries. It's amazing. He's just had an incredible year. The Browns defense has been solid against the run, ranking 11th overall. McCaffrey will present a big-time challenge for Devin Bush and Carson Schwarzenegger. We were talking about them before the cast. This is why we were talking about this defense being better this year than the defense 2 years ago, is the linebacker play is better as well, Steve.
Yep, for sure.
So it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to be up to the task. The San Francisco offense will have to deal with the best pass rusher in the league. The NFL sack leader, Myles Garrett, needs 2 sacks to become the 13th player and first since T.J. Watt in 2021 to have at least 20 in a season, so he can get to the 20 barrier. Garrett leads the league with 18 sacks, and by the way, 26 tackles for loss as well for TFLs. Really interesting matchup in this one, by the way. He's going against veteran offensive tackle, 16-year veteran Trent Williams, who was a perennial All-Pro and probably going to be a future Hall of Famer. So that's going to be an interesting matchup to maybe watch in this one. The cornerstone of the Shanahan offense has always been the strong run game. He wants to run that play action, bootleg, rollouts, that just like his dad did all those years with the Denver Broncos. I think of those like even Jake Plummer offenses that he had. They would always run play action, bootleg, rollouts, things like that. So that means McCaffrey is no doubt the number one challenge for this defense. That means in both the run game and the passing game. It'll be interesting to see if the defense is up to the challenge. Just in conclusion here, the second start of the Shador does mean a home game. It also means a better opponent. It will be interesting to see what Saleh has planned defensively. This group is still playing well despite the injuries. It will be interesting to see how much the Browns throw the football in this one, as I talked about. We also need a strong run game this week. The 49ers do have the 9th-ranked rush defense, despite their injuries. The 49ers offense still has given Purdy enough weapons to work around, including the best all-around running back. The Browns defense will no doubt have a bigger challenge this week. I have a close one. Hoping to see the continued growth of Shador. I just think the 49ers are a little bit more balanced, and I'm going 49ers 21-17.
Yep. Well said, Dave. We will get to the Game of the Week segment here, and then Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, are we going to go on a 3-game winning streak?
No, Brian, I'm hoping so. This game, I have the Cardinals and the Buccaneers.
Okay. Interesting pick.
Going all out there for this one. Big matchup. Okay.
Well, here's how it is a big match.
Well, yeah. What is
the Baker situation?
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah,
I just got to mess with you a little bit.
There's a few things involved in this one.
Go ahead.
The Cardinals and Tampa, they're both coming off 3-game losing streaks.
Yeah.
So someone has to win. Baker field has been cleared to play. I mean, God, is this guy tough?
Wow.
I think he'd play no matter what.
Well,
That's crazy.
Me and Brent were watching that and the Rams dismantled Tampa, but he was had like his arm in like a sling or something there towards the end of the game. It looked bad, you know what I mean?
So he's going to try to test the waters. He'll be playing, and if not, Teddy Bridgewater could come in, as the replacement. And guess who they get back finally? Gosh, I've been waiting for this. Bucky Irving is back.
Yeah, it
felt like he's been out all year.
You're right, Steve. That could be big for that
Tampa
offense.
needs a running game, guys. Yeah. I like the quarterbacks on both teams. Jacoby Brissett, God, is he a good backup? He may be, the end of the, starter. He could possible starter, 30, 31, he's stealing the job from Kyler Murray. He's been throwing for a ton of yards lately. Speaking of this running game, to give massive shot, we expect running back Bucky Irving to be back in the lineup. Like I just said, that's huge. The Cardinals' run defense is vulnerable. They've given up 132 yards rushing, 4.7 yards per carry over the last 5 games. The Bucs' offensive game plan, whether it be Baker Mayfield, should he have to go out, and Teddy Bridgewater's in there, they'll have to lean heavily on the ground attack. We're looking for Irving and the running backs to control the clock, keep the Cardinals' explosive passing offense off the field, and punch in a score. This is where the Bucs will be winning the line of scrimmage battle. The Cardinals' offense has been surprisingly efficient with Jacoby Brissett.
Brissett's played better than I thought this year. You know what I mean?
He's having 300-yard games like every week. I mean, pretty unreal.
Yeah, and they did lose Marvin Harrison Jr. to injury though. That was a big loss for them.
Yeah, and I guess he's back in this game.
Oh, he is coming back. Okay.
Yeah, so that'll be a factor in today's game for sure. But the offensive line has been the problem in Arizona, protecting Brissett. That has been a problem. Arizona has allowed 40 sacks this season as a team, and Brissett himself was sacked 6 times last week. So they struggle to protect the quarterback.
That can be a solid offense with it healthy. I thought they lost Connor early in the year at running back, which I think was a big loss for them too in the run game.
Yeah, no, that's true, no doubt. And this is exactly what the Buccaneers defensive front, led by Vita Vea and Yaya Davey, needs. Todd Bowles is known for his aggressive blitz packages, and he will dial up the pressure to make Brissett uncomfortable, I believe. Brissett rarely throws interceptions, but if you can rattle him, you can force quick, short throws and stall the drives. And don't forget the factor here. I'm a Tampa guy. I'm getting,
that's your Super Bowl pick.
Is that your side chick?
There you go.
Yeah, so
Well, he's got a second and third favorite teams, by the way. He's got his backups, the Patriots, Tampa.
Well, it's whoever's going to the family reunion, whoever accepts the invite, and he's going to kiss their butt.
I'm glad they're getting free chicken parm. I get a quarter off an iced tea.
And you can't even get potato salad either,
Exactly.
That's what he's supposed to bring.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Well, yeah. You're the one that has to bring food. Everyone else just consumes it.
Exactly.
That's how much you mean to him, is that you have to actually bring stuff. Like, who wants that,
Kind of sad. Yeah, I know.
Anyways, Dave, I feel your pain. Continue.
Well, guys, let's not forget about the intangible factors. The Buccaneers at home at Raymond James Stadium. That's always a lift. And don't forget, Arizona has to travel. When those NFC West teams have to come out east for 1 p.m. games, it's an early start and a long flight, from those West Coast teams. Historically, the Buccaneers have been a great late-season team, using the end of November and December to solidify their playoff chances. They know the division title is on the line. Carolina's creeping up, guys. I know, right, Dave? They lost to the 49ers 20-9 last week.
Boy, it's like two teams that don't want to win this division. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's hard not to win it.
Exactly.
You think someone would try to take off and try to win this thing.
Right.
But they know that division title is on the line, and the sense of urgency will show up on the field. Now, you can't ignore their offensive threat. Like I said with Jacoby in their high-volume passing game, led by elite tight end Trey McBride and wide receiver Michael Wilson. where did this guy come from?
Yeah.
Man, is this guy? He's a problem against opposing teams.
Yeah, I was wondering who would be the number 2 at wide receiver in that offense. I really thought it was just always their second threat was always McBride. You know what I mean? But like I said, when healthy, this was a decent offense early in the year when they had Connor healthy with Marvin Harrison, and McBride at tight end. I mean, it's not it's not a bad offense. It's interesting to see though that Brissett has played this well, especially with their offensive line issues there as well, Steve.
Exactly, and I'm hearing that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be back, so
that's big,
with McBride, and then of course Michael Wilson. With Harrison out, Wilson's really been catching a lot of balls, over 100-yard games, almost every game. It'll be interesting to see how those guys play all together. That's for sure. The Buccaneers, will test the linebackers in the coverage. However, the Bucs defense has been one major key to creating turnovers. Arizona's high volume passing can lead to mistakes, and the Bucs defense ranked 6th in the NFL in takeaways at 17 guys. If they can force a couple of those early, it completely changes the dynamic of the game. Tampa Bay plays clean and relies on the defensive pressure and superior run game to control the tempo, and they can break the streak at home. I have the Buccaneers, guys, winning 28 over the Cardinals, 28-20.
Okay.
Go Bucs. Tampa Bay, they got to win this division. Like I said, they play good later in the season. I remember getting later in the season.
They got to get out of their slump.
Out of that slump.
We always talk about Baker getting back some of his offensive weapons, getting Irvin back. Eventually, they're going to get a little bit healthier at wide receiver down the road. I think they can still make their move to win this division, towards the end of the season once they get healthier. Again, I think 9 wins can win that division, though, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not...
I think they wanted it 9-8 before.
Right.
So you can.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Carolina.
Well said, Steve. We will get to Mr. Dave Greenshield, and before Mr. Dave gives his game of the week,
sure,
Dave, you're going to be you might be tying Tom Brady for 7.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Brady,
it was Jordan last week. Now it's Brady this week. So I just keep winning. It's
and you know what Dave might do if he wins this one next week? He's going to pull the LeBron and Bosch and Wade thing. Not 1. Not 2,
right.
And he's going to go through. I mean, and just really rub it in. Anyways. All right, Mr. Dave Greenshield, go ahead and give us your game of the week.
Well, I've got an interesting one this week, and it's got playoff implications. It's the Buffalo Bills at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, a big one with playoff implications. The Steelers are 6-5, and the Bills are 7-4. On Sunday, this is a playoff like stakes game for two clubs who haven't always looked like playoff teams this season. Pittsburgh has dropped 4 of 6, while the Bills have been erratic and have been chasing New England for most of the season and could see their half-decade run atop the AFC East all but end with a third loss in 4 games. While Pittsburgh had switched quarterbacks several times in the interim, with Aaron Rodgers getting the okay to return this weekend after sitting out the loss against the Bears last week with the wrist injury. How he fares against this Bills will rely heavily on whether the star-laden underperforming defense can finally wrangle Josh Allen. That's a loaded Steelers defense that they have a lot invested that's really underachieved this year, Steve.
Yeah, they really have. That's for sure, Dave.
The Bills this is the interesting thing, and this is something to really watch for in this game, guys. The Bills will be without both starting tackles, Deion Dawkins and the other tackle, Spencer Brown, which is going to be really interesting in this one for the Steelers. And that's bad news, considering the Steelers' pass rush has still been pretty good this year. T.J. Watt, 7 sacks. Nick Herbig, 6.5 sacks. Alex Highsmith, 5.5 sacks. So it's still a really good pass rush there, even though statistically it's not been a great defense. Without Dawkins and Brown, the Bills will have to rely on 2 new tackles in Ryan Vandermark and Chase Lunt, or Tillin Grable at the other tackle position. It is hard to believe that this highly paid Steelers defense ranks 28th in yards and allowed. And by the way, Steve, the last in pass defense, if you can believe that.
Wow, that is hard to believe. They still create turnovers, but they give up all these big play yardage, right?
Right. Well, it's really been the corner position. If you remember that Cincinnati game on that Thursday night, they really got exposed by the Bengals, although, the Higgins-Chase combination at wide receiver can do that to people. So that's really when they've been struggling with their pass defense is in coverage, particularly at the cornerback position. It's hard to believe the Steelers defense has played this poorly, and the Steelers are still 6-5 and in first place in the division as of right now. Allen isn't exactly having an MVP season. He does have 2,700 yards passing, 18 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. He is coming off a tough start against the Texans defense. Man, that Texans defense is good, Steve.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, they give up the least points in the NFL. I believe yards as well.
I mean, Danielle Hunter and that pass rush is really, really good. Your defensive player of the year candidate on that team as well,
Will
Steve.
Anderson.
Will Anderson, that's
Having a
right.
great year too.
Yeah. He threw 2 interceptions in that one and had an awful 26.0 QBR. He was also sacked 8 times against that Texans pass rush that we talked about. Pass pro is going to be a big key in this one, obviously. It will be interesting to see how much help he can get from star running back James Cook. He is having a great year. He has nearly 1,100 yards rushing while averaging 5.4 yards per carry. The wide receiver core in Buffalo hasn't been a great asset to Josh Allen. Having Keon Coleman on the field would probably help, though it's unclear whether Coleman will get the opportunity. The talented Coleman has spent a chunk of the season in Sean McDermott's doghouse and has been a healthy scratch in the recent weeks after missing team meetings. Coleman does have 32 receptions for 330 yards this season. Remember, we were talking about them as possibly being a breakout guy, Steve.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be the best receiver for him, and he hasn't been that.
Yeah,
Who's the best? Shakir?
Khalil Shakir is the leading receiver for the Bills. I was going to mention that. 54 catches for 564 yards receiving. It'll be interesting to see if Allen has time to get the ball to these wide receivers. Again, that's going to be the big key in this one. Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers fractured his left wrist during Week 11's game against the Bengals. The QB pushed to play against the Chicago Bears but didn't go. The staff made the decision that he would not play on the Saturday before that game. The Steelers expect the veteran QB back for Sunday's game against the Bills. By the way, having a solid year. I was looking at Rodgers' numbers here, completing 66.4% of his passes for 1,969 yards passing, and he ranks in the top 5 in passing touchdowns with 21. He's had a pretty solid year, actually.
Yeah, not bad.
This is impressive considering it's not been a great supporting cast, by the way. Pittsburgh's rushing offense has been near the bottom, averaging only 97 yards per game, ranking 27th in the NFL. The only real threat they have in the passing game is veteran wide receiver DK Metcalf. He does have, 42 receptions for 573 yards with 5 touchdowns. They've really struggled to find a number 2 at the wide receiver position, whether it be Austin, Roman Wilson. Nobody's really emerged at the number 2 spot at wide receiver. This, like the Bills, has not been a real productive wide receiver group. The Bills' defense has not been great this season. It's 30th in the NFL in allowing rushing yards at 143.9 per game and 31st in yards per rush at 5.3. They've probably missed defensive tackle Ed Oliver, who's had the bicep injury. The Bills have had the 7th best pass defense this year, only allowing 6.7 yards per an attempt. It'll be interesting to see how Rodgers looks coming off the injury. I'm fairly impressed with his production, considering his age and not very strong supporting cast this season. In conclusion, this is no doubt a big game for both teams. The Bills might be looking at a wild card this season with as good as your Patriots have been, Steve, by the way.
No, it's unbelievable.
The Steelers' path to the playoffs is obviously to win the division over the Ravens. This will be an interesting quarterback matchup. Allen or Rodgers duel here could be fun. It'll be interesting to see if the Bills can get Cook going in the running game. It'll also be interesting to see how sharp Rodgers is coming off the injury. He could use another threat at wide receiver opposite of Metcalf in the passing game. We'll see if somebody can step up in this one. This is a tough call. I need to keep my winning streak going, Brent. The Steelers' defense will be looking to get after Allen. They do have the injuries at tackle. I just feel the Bills are the better team. I think Allen has a bounce-back game in this one. I'm going Bills. Sticking my neck out here a little bit, guys. 24-21.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I
thought you were going Pittsburgh.
I was leaving.
I know.
The linemen are out.
Yeah, I know.
Oh boy.
And that's a good pass rush too.
He's been
Buffalo, they've lost some games.
Yeah,
he's been all Buffalo. I got Pittsburgh winning that.
Pittsburgh, right?
Because it's at Pittsburgh. I got Pittsburgh. I got Pittsburgh.
Wow, Dave.
The streak could come to an end this week. I'm trying to throw you a bone, Steve.
Well, he's trying to get Steve back into the race.
Exactly.
Let me get back in the race.
Yeah, you know.
I may be throwing you a bone.
Are you if if you win this one, are you going to go like a banquet tour,
No.
and you're just going to start? That means you get like complacent and lazy.
Maybe I should start to advise. I can start to advise.
consulting.
Do some
He started-
consulting work.
Now, I was always inviting all the big name guys to
Yeah, I
the
know.
family reunions. He'll have his own.
Yeah.
He keeps winning.
Wait! He might start pulling people from your reunion to his.
No.
Pretty soon, Vrabel and him are going to be buddies.
What's crazy?
That's not allowed, Mr. Green.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to parlay this. Remember in the 90s, they used to have those like betting call-in shows, and they would have these people call in and get my top 5 picks this week.
Yeah.
I might do something.
You know what would
that.
be funny?
You have Sean McDermott over.
You go to Green Shield. Listen, I got an idea. You go to Green
I'm
Shield.
Having Vrabel.
Okay.
You go to
Patriots are mine.
No.
Bills can be your invites.
you go to Green Shield's Facebook page in about a week from now,
Yes.
and it's like you see like what is that, surfboard and like maybe a fishing rod, and him and Vrabel got their arms around each other, and they're going on vacations together, and Retzer, he's just losing his mind.
He'll make something up on AI.
All right, we got to move on, guys. It's getting good, though. All right. I'm going to get to my game of the week, and that will be the Colts and the Texans. And,
Yes, sir.
That's
I got to.
It's a big matchup.
It is, and I just got to ride with my Colts. And by the way, the Texans they've let me down. Steve and I remember in past
They're on
seasons.
the come up, man.
I know they got momentum. I get it.
Well, you warmed up, I think, a little bit of the Colts because you were down Danny Dimes early. You know what I mean?
And I remember watching some of the games with you at the bar, and I'm like, God, this Colts team is, and they got a loaded roster,
Right.
And so we'll get right into Texans Colts battle. Isn't just a divisional game; it's a playoff eliminator for the AFC South.
Could be.
The 8-3 Colts have a chance to effectively lock up their division lead against the surging 6-5 Texans, who are fighting desperately to remain in the wild card picture and make the AFC South a 3-team dogfight with Jacksonville. The entire contest comes down to the two opposing forces. Can the Colts, league-leading rusher Jonathan Taylor, control the clock and keep the ball away from the Texans' terrifying pass rush duo of Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter?
Yep.
Or will the Houston defense win the trenches and force a late-game mistake from Danny Dimes? Jones' fractured fibula, which he's playing through, adds a critical wrinkle. His mobility and ability to evade the fierce Texans' pass rush will likely be hampered.
Well, Stroud's back for Houston, so
Yep.
that's got to be getting out there. So Stroud's back at quarterback.
Yep.
I'm interested to see how he looks. Davis Mills was kind of holding down the fort there for a while. He has had issues with a very bad offensive line this year, and they've also struggled to find a number 2 receiver opposite of Nico Collins in the pass game. See, I just wonder, though, he might be able to do some business against this Colts defense. But the matchup in this one is this Texans defense versus Taylor and Dimes and this Colts balanced offense.
And I kind of feel like Taylor's going to do his thing. He is. And by the way, that's Steve's guy, Taylor. He's not mine. But go ahead.
I did come up with Taylor. That's no doubt. You guys, the Texans are creeping back in this thing. I call them my Texans.
Well,
You picked them.
you had
I
a
know.
championship game, right, Steve?
Yeah, and you had, what's his face? Yeah, good.
I know they looked awful at the beginning, but they're quietly sneaking back.
Yeah, it's
Just
just
defense, Stroud starting to come together a little better.
well, their defense has played really well. Stroud has been okay, but I think some of the deficiencies on this offense, lacking a little bit at the receiver position, and certainly the offensive line have held back this offense from really kicking it up another level and giving their defense a little bit more support. And that's what I still question about this team. And I like the Colts balance. So, go ahead, Brent, with your pick.
Yeah. We expect the Colts run game and home field advantage to slightly edge out the Texans defense in a close grinding battle with a final score, the Colts winning this one 27-21.
Okay, I think it'll be a good one.
So, all right, we will get to the bold prediction and no cupcakes, guys, this week, one touchdown and that's it, and or the guy just shows up to work, or he's breathing, and Dave never does that. He's always picking tough ones. I know.
There's some jealousy of my winning over here. I'm picking that up for Mr. Kid over here.
I'm getting jealous. I know.
Don't worry, honey, I'll throw you a pick or two if you need some help.
I know. Well, remember next year I will be doing bold predictions. That'll be
Okay.
something I would do. So I might come to you for some help.
Yes. Well, something for Browns and
By the way, Steve, get me a drink.
Spider, go get me.
I love it. I love it.
Can I get you a bottle of water off the front porch? You like that? You like that?
Oh my God! All right, guys, we got this is something here. All right, we'll go to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, what do you have for the bold prediction?
Okay. Well, on my bold P this week, I'm going with a great player to have a bust-out game. I'm going for Justin Jefferson to go off for over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns against a really good Seattle defense. And this is going out on a limb considering the defense that he's going up against. Now, he is the NFL's all-time leader in receiving yards per game, by the way. I didn't realize this, at 93.5 yard average. That's amazing. It'll be interesting to see what he can do. And this is another roadblock. Former Golden Gopher quarterback Max Brosmer, an undrafted rookie, will get the start at quarterback. He's replacing an injured J.J. McCarthy, who's not only injured, but let's be honest, he's been ineffective as well, guys. I hear the guy's a winner, but he's been pretty ineffective this year. And by the way, Jefferson has had only 2 100-yard receiving games this season and 0 multiple touchdown games. And this is a good Seattle defense. I just have a feeling that Justin Jefferson is due, has a big day today. I would add he needs to get the yards and the touchdowns for me to get the bold prediction right. Justin Jefferson to bust through today against Seattle. Over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think that's bold, guys.
That's getting bold.
Yeah, not bad there, Dave. All right, we will get to Mr. Steve Retzer. Wrap us up here. What do you got for a bold prediction?
All right, boys. Got the Raiders at the Chargers. I have Raiders defensive end Max Crosby will have at least 2 sacks against the Chargers.
Okay.
And their struggling offensive line. Justin Herbert. He will look like a Myles Garrett-esque
Okay.
in this one. I think the Chargers will probably still secure the victory.
Yeah, because the Raiders are that bad.
Yeah, the Raiders are pretty bad, boys.
Yeah.
But so the Chargers will get the win, but Crosby will look great. So go Max and get after Herbert, your boy Herbert.
Yeah,
I think Max
you
is
know.
getting after him, Brent.
Well,
I'd like to see that.
I think he had 7 or 8 tackles last week against the Browns, but no sacks. That's what I said. We, our tackles did a fairly good job in pass pro last week.
Yes, he had a lot of he had a lot of tackles, no sacks.
Right.
I think he's getting sacks in this one, and of course that depleted offensive line. Chargers have 2 offensive linemen out.
Yes.
He should be able to get in on right.
Yeah, the Chargers have had some rough injuries at running back, and then on the offensive line this year they lost both running backs. The offensive line's been hurt. It's been pretty rough there. I think that's what's kind of held back the Chargers. But hey, there's nothing to get right than to face the Raiders. This is your get right game. If you're Harbaugh and your good buddy Justin Herbert to get right is no doubt to go face the Raiders. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well said here. We will get to some final thoughts here. I got the Browns.
Yeah. What are you thinking about this?
The Browns game here today. And we'll get to our final thoughts. I actually think, I'm kind of more on your side here with this, the prediction. I think it'll be a close game. The weather, the elements are going to play a factor. We're not going to see, a big shootout.
Okay.
I have the 49ers taking this one 24-17 over the Browns.
Okay.
So I just
go ahead.
I remember I even kind of said, I think I might have said this to you yesterday. I think Shador's going to do well. He's going to just do his thing. He's not going to screw up that much. And they're going to go to Judkins more. And I don't know if I necessarily need to see a win today. I want those draft picks. I made that very clear. I told that to both you guys. I just don't want Shador to get benched. I don't want him to stink, and I don't want Dylan to come in. I'm concerned about that.
Go ahead, Steve.
I thought I was going to be a little bit more convincing to both of you. I'm the only one to pick the Browns in the 3 today.
I mean, they're facing a lot better football team, Steve.
The 49ers are good, 8-4.
Well, they're a lot better than the Raiders.
Yeah.
His coaches.
I mean, they're stepping up in class.
I remember
big time.
I remember. We have the friend CJ.
Yeah.
And Dave was with me, and we're watching the Falcons-Niners game, and I go, "Oh, the Falcons, they got this. No, the Niners got them." And I'm like, "No, they get." I think that coach, the Shanahan, and just the supporting.
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey.
One man band, like I mentioned.
Do you ever?
I think Purdy will bounce back a little bit. I don't think he's going to throw, the picks like he did last week. I think C-Mac's going to be difficult. They still have enough targets in the pass game. I think their defense has done great with all these injuries that they've had. Now, what was your score? Was your score more of a low scoring?
I had 23-20, so
okay,
a little bit over whatever the under might have been 40.
Okay.
That.
Now, do you see that?
Don't forget this Jim Schwartz factor against Shanahan.
No, I agree.
And Steve, I'll give you credit.
Right.
They are at home.
Right.
So that's going to also play a factor.
My concern is I think the 49ers maybe get a turnover in this one, too. That's why I say Shador's going to have to play a clean game in this one, avoid the interception that he had last week. And then again, I'm just interested to see the overall offensive game plan with Reese, because I think they do need to get some run game going. But again, the 49ers run defense has been pretty solid this year. So, that's why I'm leaning. I think it'll be a close game. I think they'll play inspired at home and keep it close. But I just think that they're stepping up this week. The 49ers are just a far better football team than the Raiders. That's not even close.
Yeah.
So
the only thing is that home cooking. That's
true.
That's why Steve's
better at home.
Steve's prediction isn't exactly crazy,
right?
Because it is at home, and Shador, if they haven't put on another good game plan,
yes,
they might pull that out.
I would not be surprised.
They said he had a great week in practice. I'm sure they're always going to say that.
That is the most common line in the history of football. You will never hear
the coach Shador's lighting it up in practice.
I'll tell you what, the first time you ever hear a coach say, we had a bad week of practice, will be the first time, ever you hear that line. Because you never hear that line.
Never.
Zero.
Definitely. Never going to hear that. We'll go around the table here for some final thoughts. We'll go to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Yeah. Dave, give us some final thoughts.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a good one today. I think it will be a close game. I think it'll come down late fourth quarter. I think we both have this as all three of us have it as a one-possession game. So sure. I'm just interested to see Shador's continued growth. Let's hope for a good game. And then I'd love to see the Browns pull it out in the end. I just think the 49ers are just a little bit better football team. But Steve?
Guys, I'm just glad to be optimistic again. I think I was being more pessimistic lately, so I'm getting back involved. Shador's in there. That's my guy. We're at home. I'm excited, guys. Let's watch some football.
Yeah, I was watching football. We got some good. I see the late games look good. You got the Steelers and the
Bills
and the Seahawks. Is that later?
Yeah, that's a later game.
Yeah, so there you go. So got a good football Sunday ahead of us. Guys, have a good one. Take care.